Okay, so hey YouTube, I promised another vid. I want to do this one real quick. This is a review of my Rogue, probably hard to see sideways, Rogue Fine Instruments. Mandolin, I think they only make one model. This is the, you can actually see it, RM, well, I thought it was the model number was on there. Anyway, I think they only make one. This is it. It does come in different flavors. I think it comes in black. This is in Sunburst. These tend to get a lot of, kind of beat up a lot by instrument snobs about. And I'm not this, professional, whatever musician. I have taught, I've played for a long time, but always as a hobbyist. But I wanted to give a little review, kind of in defense of it, if you will. It's kind of hard to maybe see the finish. Finish is great on it. There's the back. It's really nice. I don't know how durable it is. I wouldn't be too rough with it. The, I guess, chrome plated tuners. Nice little touch on the back. If you can see the kind of gold plated wheels for the tuners. Some engraving on the tailpiece. Looks, looks nice. Rosewood bridge that's adjustable. Rosewood fretboard. And that's probably about it. These go for about 50 or 60 bucks at Guitar Center. I think you can even get them at Walmart. This one actually came with a really nice padded gig bag that I keep now my primary mandolin in, and a couple of instruction books. But the binding is good. You can see the mount here for the pick guard, which I removed just to get a little bit more projection for it. I kind of prefer the pick guardless, the bare look. It's a bit heavier than my area. Maybe they had to use, I don't know, more wood or something because it's laminate. It is a totally, there's no real wood on this instrument other than probably the bridge. Well, the bridge and the fretboard. It is laminate. It does sound a little bit tinny, almost ukulele-ish, especially when you start getting up in pitch. And it sounds a little dull, lower, probably its sweet spots are the notes on the two middle strings. But for someone like me who was curious, didn't know if I would like mandolin or not. I mean, for 50 bucks, come on. As long as it's decent, and it's more than decent. You're gonna have to replace the strings, so you're $50 plus, 5 to 10 bucks for a set of strings. Strongly recommend that you go with light gauge strings. And not even mediums. There's mediums on here. I need to put a set of light gauge strings on it, and the reason is the arch, since this is a laminate, over time is likely to fail. There's just so much tension, even with these mediums. I think that's about 180 pounds of tension, a lot more tension than a guitar, and it's all centered right there on the high spot, and it's pushing down, and it hasn't yet. This mandolin is, I think I got it over 2 years ago, and it probably had medium strings on it from the factory, cheap ones. These sound a lot better. These are D'Addario strings. These are the phosphor bronze. I really don't care for those. So when I put light gauge strings on it, it should be a little bit brighter. The D'Addario has made a big difference in it. Just tuned it up, and it's probably hard to hear if you're watching on a computer. It's not a bad tone. a bad tone at all, but compared to a wood instrument, or at least a solid wood top, it does sound a bit tinny. So not terrible. It does cut pretty well. It does project pretty well. So I've played with a couple other acoustic guitars, big body acoustic Martins and whatnot, you know, that fill the room, and it will cut through. Of course, it helps that it's an octave higher than they are, but it will cut through. I mean, it's not. You're probably not going to see it on the Grand Ole Opry or, you know, a Rogue or something like that. But if you're curious about the instrument, you don't know if you'll like it or whatever, I mean, $50, you can't go wrong. You will need to set the intonation. The bridge is adjustable. It's a floating bridge. The little thumb wheels, you know, move up and down for the bridge height. I backed them all the way down and then ended up having to raise the bass side just a little bit. It was getting a little bit of buzz. If you play guitar mandolin, you really need to know how to do that anyway. Don't pay a luthier to do that. That's a complete waste of money. You need to know how to change your strings. So yeah, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there on both of those. But fresh, light strings. Take a little bit of time. Set your intonation. Drop your action down. One other thing, I've seen one other video of a Rogue review where the guy making it actually replaced the nut, which is plastic, with a bone nut, and that's fine. I don't have the tools to do that. I've never done it, and I'm not gonna, I don't know, spend a day, you know, learning to cut a nut and this, that, and the other. I'm sure it will make it sound a bit better, but in the end, I mean, it's a laminate instrument, so it's timbre and tone and all that. I mean, it is going to be limited. On the upshot of that, I mean, for $50, if you don't like the instrument, you set the intonation and adjusted the action, you can probably sell it on Craigslist and get most of your money back. And if you do like it and you upgrade, then you have a backup instrument, right? And it doesn't sound terrible. Does it sound like a Kentucky or Eastman or even my area? Well, no. But it's also a fraction of the cost of those, and it's a lot easier to just, you know, bring two. You break a string or something, you pull out the old Rogue. You know, get stolen or stepped on or totaled or something around the house, you're up $50, not $500. So I do for either for a backup, for a new player, someone curious about the mandolin. Yeah, and I think, and actually the action on this one is significantly lower than on area. And it actually, the action's pretty good in my opinion. So, and then plus you get the gig bag, you know, a couple of books. So yeah, it's a decent gig bag, padded, shoulder strap, carrying handles and all that. And I actually use it to travel in the area. But yeah, the Rogue, I wish I knew the model number. I'll have to put that on the video. It's RM something. Oh yeah, RM-100A. Yeah, Rogue RM-100A is on the little manufacturer's label. Made in China, of course, like everything else. You can't hardly find anything made in another country now. But a good value for $50. Strongly recommend. So, Rogue on. Yeah, that was really corny, sorry.